Hey everybody, it's RLCLONED. You guys wanted it, here you go. This is my guide to competitive Pokemon team building. Um, so pretty much, the first video is just going to be explaining good concept to build teams to start up with. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain to you what these will be. And then after that, we're going to look into specific Pokemon that I feel are really strong in the metagame, but those will be in future videos. So for this first video, we're going to be explaining the different core functions you should have in a Pokemon team. One of them that's very important is to have a rapid spinner, a defog user, something like that. The term I believe is just spinner, a hazard clearer. Pretty much, it's a Pokemon that knows either rapid spin or defog, which clears spikes or toxic spikes, as I show here on the Cloyster. Because they could potentially destroy your entire team if you don't have a rapid spinner, which is a little bit crazy to think about. But someone sets down 2 toxic spikes and stealth rocks or something. Now every grounded Pokemon is going to get toxic poisoned, and they can get easily slaughtered by toxic spikes coming in. They can get slaughtered by any tank that can just out survive them once they're all toxic. But even for those Steel-type Pokemon, so many of them are like flying, like Celesteela. So you're going to have Stealth Rocks hitting them too. So you can potentially break multiscale, like for example with Dragonite. You can break multiscale with Stealth Rock. So it's good to have a Rapid Spinner to make sure that you don't have any of these massive team flaws. Also, if you do the case like the Cloyster, you could put your own setup moves on there. It's not required. It's not even like something that you need to have on your team. It's not even like a recommendation, but it is really nice to have a nice setup hazard Pokemon, so you can get those toxic spikes on their team if you're gonna have a toxic spikes on your team. But if you don't have a toxic spikes, I'd recommend actually not doing toxic spikes because they can get easily cleared. If the opponent has a poison type, they can just hop right in, and all the toxic spikes get cleared from the field. It's not the best idea. But spikes, stealth rocks, those are very useful. Recommend stealth rocks more, obviously, because it's not going to get... it does more damage to start off with compared to spikes. But also, if you have a suicide Pokemon, like you could with Cloyster here, you can have weakness policy explosion. You could explode all over anyone the second that you think they're about to kill you. But next up, you're going to have your Mega Pokemon or your Setup Sweeper, whatever you want. This is just my example that incorporates both. Setup Sweepers are super useful. You're going to want a Pokemon that can either boost its damage, boost its speed, but obviously it needs to have both. Or you can, for example, like Gyarados is Dragon Dance, so you can boost your attack and speed. What you want to be able to do is you want to be able to do enough damage to just pound through the rest of the team. And a quick note that I also want to note, on your team, make sure to have one priority move. Across your Pokemon, at least one priority move. Because the other team is going to have priority moves, and if you can't out-priority them in certain situations, you can get completely decimated. Sounds a little bit silly, but it is possible. Swords Dance Bullet Punch actually gets a lot of Pokemon because of just how powerful Scizor is as a Pokemon with that 150 attack. So being able to boost into damage is really good for your team. Also, how Megas have really good stats, obviously, so trying to get one Mega onto your team is really useful. Next up is the Setup Stall. So, Stall Pokemon are one of my favorites in the game, and I use them a lot. And Setup Stall Pokemon are really useful because if you can find a Pokemon that just can't damage you enough, like if they're not getting over 50% of your health in that first hit, you can use Cosmic Power. All of a sudden now your defenses are 1.5 times more. You hope they don't crit you. Moonlight, 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 until you're able to Cosmic Power again. Keep on Cosmic Powering until you're at maximum defenses. Toxic, you don't even have to go to maximum defenses, just until you feel safe. Toxic, and then Moonblast if they can't be toxic. I mean, you do have a weakness here against Steel types for Clefable, but there's tons of other Setup Stall Pokemon, so if you have a team weakness to Steel, try getting another Pokemon. It's not only Clefable, obviously. Next one's going to be the Glass Cannon. Glass Cannon is always a super useful member on the team. You want a Pokemon that doesn't take any turns to set up, just throw it in there, start dealing tons of damage, super fast, super quick, started pounding on people. And something interesting about Tapu Koko, actually, has a really, really good special moveset compared to physical, because all its physical moves are either going to make you switch out or do damage to yourself. So even though it's more attack, lots of people prefer using the special attacking Tapu Koko because of the fact that it can lose less damage per hit. But if you're already using a Life Orb like here, then it might not be the worst idea to do a physical moveset. But still, physical special doesn't matter as long as it can go fast, hit hard. That's his Glass Cannon. But also Glass Cannons don't really take much hits. That doesn't really matter trying to outspeed and do enough damage anyways. Next up is going to be the Bulk Sweeper. I haven't really talked about the choice items. The choice items are really useful if you could have a Scarfed Pokemon to outspeed Pokemon. Bandit or Spectre so you can get more damage. In this case I have a bulky Buzzwole. Because it's got so much attack, so much defense. You can just go max HP, maximum attack, slap on the choice band, use Leech Life, get all of your health back pretty much, or if you just have better damage options, go for the Hammer Arm, Earthquake, etc. As long as you're going to be able to do out-damaging, it's just a really useful member on the team for you to be able to take more than one hit and be able to trade that one for one. Because in Pokemon, as long as you can KO one or more Pokemon with a Pokemon, that Pokemon's job is done. You just need to stay at least one Pokemon ahead of the other team. Last one is also one of my favorites. I really love tanky Pokemon. It's my thing. Tank Pokemon. So tank Pokemon will be no setup at all. They're just really tanky to start off with. Like for example, in Porygon 2's case, the Eviolite just boosts its defenses to ridiculousness. Like in this specific circumstance, Garchomp doesn't 2-hit KO, which is a little bit ridiculous to even think of. But Porygon 2 is just really, really tanky Pokemon. Having any tanky Pokemon that can just use Toxic, recover its health back up, and it doesn't need those extra boosts, it's a really useful Pokemon to have in your team. So, also make sure you're going to want to have maybe a damage option on your pure tank Pokemon that has no setup moves, because you're going to be able to do damage to a Pokemon if you're able to, because if they can't be Toxic, then you're kind of screwed. But anyways, that's going to be it for this first little guide here. Just letting you know, you really want to have just a little checklist. Try to get a priority in there. Try to get a rapid spinner in there. Everything else is pretty much up to you. Recommend 2 setups, which I consider to be medium Pokemon. Because they're not that fast, but they do a lot of damage. Or they're not that fast, but they're really bulky. You want a Glass Cannon, super speed, super attack. You're going to want a Bulk, which is going to be lots of attack, but maybe not as much speed. And then finally, you're definitely going to want either a Tank, or maybe a setter if you want, stat booster that can baton pass into another Pokemon. Obviously, this isn't like a required team build to have, but it's always useful to try to build your team around this idea, unless you're trying to go for a specific type of team, like a baton pass into one Pokemon to sweep team. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped you out a little bit. Expect the next couple of guys to be explaining to you couple of really interesting Pokemon, and then maybe we'll get into some battles. See you guys then.